Hello Primary 2-3, it's Mrs. Patterson here and I'm here today for lesson number 2 on Scots language, and we're going to be using the monsters we created last week to do some more writing using lots of Scots vocabulary. And throughout this video you might see little monsters that you might recognise from last week's learning. And that's right, that's Ella's on the screen there. Well done, Ella. I absolutely love your monster. So our learning intention for today we are learning to use Scots language to write an effective character description. And look at this monster here. He has wee horns, yelly spikes, twa sets of wallies. He's got 2 sets of teeth, red eyes, and muckle gecks, muckle big glasses. What a fantastic monster and super descriptions. And this one was Emily's monster. Well done, Emily. So last week we all created our very own monsters and labelled them using lots of newly learned Scots vocabulary. And Mrs. Walker and I were so impressed by all the work that you did and all the unique, wonderful, crazy monsters that we saw on Teams, and the amazing job you did of using Scots vocabulary descriptively. Everyone used lots of their own words as well. You challenged yourself to find some new Scots words of your own, and you included lots of vocabulary in your descriptions. Well done, everyone. This week you are going to use your labelled monsters from last week to create a longer character description using Scots language. You will need to use the word bank given to you in your learning packs last week to help you use more Scots vocabulary in full sentences. Last week you used the vocabulary to label your monsters and describe them, but this week you're going to be putting those words into fuller, longer sentences to add more detail and more description for your character. So let's remind ourselves of a few words we can use in Scots. So here are some of the words we looked at last week. So in English we have head, which is heid in Scots, eyes, which is een, nose, which is neb, ears is lugs, armpits is oxters, and mouth is mouth. So you might want to use some of these words in your longer description, in your full sentences, if you haven't used some of these words in the description already. Boy means laddie, girl means lassie, little is wee, big is muckle, smelly is mingin, and beautiful is bonny. So again, if you didn't use any of these words in your labelled diagram of your monster, you might want to think about how you could use these words in full sentences to add more detail. Clothes is clays, shoes means gutties, trousers is breeks, glasses is gecks, hands is hons, and crazy is a bampot. If you're a crazy person, you're a bit of a bampot. So remember, these words are here on the video, but you also have a large word bank with you in your learning packs from last week that will help you add even more Scots vocabulary to your sentences. So remember to check your home learning packs for more Scots language to use when describing your monster in full sentences, and ask an adult to help you read the Scots vocabulary because some of the words are a little bit tricky to pronounce. Remember, you can also use this website here to translate more words into Scots if there are some words that you would like to use that are not in the word bank. So here is my example from last week, and now I'm going to show you a more detailed description of my monster that I have written for you. I've written a descriptive paragraph in Scots and have also shown the English translation on the slide that comes after. I wonder if you can recognise some of the words that I have used. My monster. My monster is my best pal, but help my bob, he's an awfy bampot. He has strange locks and a muckle heid. Even though he has smelly oxters and mingin taes, he has a right bonny smile. He aye makes me laugh if I'm feeling pure upset. My monster has clarty clays and nae gutties, so I need to take him to the shops for fresh ones. He also has muckle great horns that are good for gien me cuddles. He's a total sook at heart. My monster is an Egypt, but he really is part of the family. I love my monster to bits. At this point in the video, Primary 2-3, you could pause the screen and work with an adult at home to see if you can work out what some of these words might mean. Do you recognise any of the words from last week's lesson? Are there some new ones in there that you're not quite sure about? The words that I've used are in your word bank, so if you want to use some of them in your description, you can. And on the next slide, I'm going to show you what all this means in English so that you can have the translation there and use some of the vocabulary yourself. My monster. My monster is my best friend, but oh my goodness, he's awful crazy. He has strange hair and a big head. Even though he has smelly armpits and smelly toes, he has a really beautiful smile. He always makes me laugh if I'm feeling really upset. My monster has dirty clothes and no shoes, so I need to take him to the shops for fresh ones. He also has massive hands that are good for giving me cuddles. He's a total softie at heart. My monster is an idiot, but he really is part of the family. I love my monster to bits. So on these two slides, you can see the comparison and the difference between the description in Scots and the description in English. To make it a little bit easier for you, I will stick the Scots description and the English description for my monster up on Teams in our files section so that you can look at the vocabulary I've used in a little bit more detail, and you can take some of my ideas and take some of the vocabulary I've used in my description to help you write yours. So now, Primary 2-3, it's your turn. You can see that I've used lots of Scots vocabulary to describe my monster. I have described how he looks, what his personality is like, and my relationship with the monster, because we are best friends. So try to include a bit of information about your monster's looks, personality, and your relationship with him too. Try to include at least 3 descriptive sentences. You've also been learning about adjectives this week, so I'm sure you've all got lots of good ideas about adjectives that you could use to describe your monster. You have a template in your learning packs to complete your writing and try to use as much Scots language as you can to describe your monster. Remember to write in full sentences and use capital letters and full stops too. I'm really looking forward to seeing your detailed descriptions of your monsters soon on Teams. Good luck everyone, see you soon.